Uh, Let me know if you can hear me now. All right. Thank you so much. Good evening, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience. I apologize for the delay. There was a little bit of glitch that needed to be fixed, but I'm glad we're back now. So, welcome to LRM. This is May edition. Yes, LRM May edition. What we're talking about today. And I'm trusting God that it's going to be a very insightful, instructive session, and it's going to help a lot of us use social media better and protect our well-being as well. Okay. Good evening, Sandra. Good evening, your number one sibling. Good evening, James. Thank you guys so much. Okay. So today we're talking about something very, very important, something that I believe affects a lot of us. Um, as young people, especially in this era we are in, social media, right? So the topic is social media comparison and your mental health. How do you protect your mental age? I believe that this is something that is so important for us right now because there's a lot of mental issues on ground, mental health related issues rather that is affecting so many young people. You see a lot of young people are battling identity crisis, self-esteem issues, anxiety, envy, jealousy, all of these things. And by the time you look at it, it can be traced to social media, especially in my work as a therapist. I realize that there are many things that are affecting young people on a daily basis. Young people who are feeling like they're failed in life, feeling like they're, left behind things. And keep wondering what is fueling these feelings, these emotions, and these thought patterns that a lot of people have. And so that's why today's topic is very. I started here with a question. Have you ever felt behind in life, even when nothing is actually wrong? And I would like your responses in the chat box. Let's talk about it. Have you ever felt like you're left behind? Have you ever just gone on social media, see what is going on, and just felt like, what's going on with my own life? Where am I at? Me, I'll be very honest. I felt it before. So I'm not trying to sound like somebody who has it all figured out or who doesn't struggle with some of these things. But I would love to hear from us on this call. I felt that way. Let me see your yes in the chat box. If you haven't, let me know that you are the real Ogdogu here. Okay, thank you. Your number one sibling. It'd be nice to know your real name so that I can address you by your name. But thank you very much for your honest answer, Rhoda. I'm still expecting your responses. So the question here says, have you ever felt behind in life, even when anything is actually wrong in your life? I remember a time when I was still in school. Oh, I was in, I think, 300 level or thereabouts. And hold on, I think I was like maybe 20, 21, if I'm not mistaken. I was still very young in my 20s, early 20s. And I remember having a conversation with her. Ungozi, thank you so much. As a mom, seeing other moms thriving in their field makes me like, what? I know that feeling. I thank you for sharing. Thank you, James. So I remember speaking with an older friend, and I was telling that friend, I feel like my life is not going in any direction. I feel like I'm not doing well, blah, blah, blah. I was just lamenting and I'm a failure in life. And then the guy paused and he was like, "Ah, please, oh, how old are you?" I said, I'm 20 years old. He said, you still have your 20, you're still in school, you still have like a whole life ahead of you. Why are you already feeling like you are a failure or you are behind in pressure that I couldn't pinpoint? But then I realized that it was due to so many things that I'd been seeing around me online at the time. They were already doing things. Some 20 years old, they're already buying cars, doing stuff for themselves. So me at that point, I feel like I want to for this life. And a lot of young people also experience that. I don't know if you can see this tiny. Okay, so this is a case study of Ayo. Ayo, she was only going to go 10 minutes before sleeping. But one video turned into another video. She saw that a friend got engaged. Somebody posted a picture. That person just bought a car. Someone else looked like they were winning in life. She kept scrolling. After a while, she paused and started to think about how I felt the same. No progress, nothing new. It was just there. She said to herself, why does it feel like everyone is moving forward? Sorry. She said to herself, why does it feel like everyone is moving forward and I'm just here? So she put her phone down and found it difficult to sleep because she kept comparing her life with people that not even met before. She kept comparing her life with people that she had not even met before. I like what Rhoda said. I'm walking and loving my pace. That is bliss, I tell you. So, how do you feel after scrolling for a long time? I want us to. There are options here. If all of the above is your option, you can tap all of the above. You can write all of the above. If you feel inspired after scrolling for a long time, write I feel inspired. If you feel anxious, write I feel anxious. If you feel behind, if you feel motivated, if you feel empty. For me, it's a combination of everything sometimes, to be honest. Like there are days when I'm online and see something and I'm inspired. And on this subject of inspiration, I have thought about it that if time permits, I'm going to share later on, hopefully, right? So sometimes you're online, you see what other people are doing, it you inspires you to want to do more, you want to do better. But other times you feel anxious, you feel like the world is moving fast and I'm not moving. Thank you so much, James. He says sometimes it's a combination of all. And at times you feel empty. I like that we are being very honest because these are the truths that so many people don't want to admit. But a world where lives are curated, success is displayed, reality is edited, and comparison is contact is so this is the world that we live in now. Social media is a whole world on its own. And in this world, there are so many happening. One moment you're seeing somebody coming to share their pain about how they lost a loved one and they're coming to cry and bleed online. Somebody come to share their joy. Another moment, there's just something. Today alone, so many things has happened, or so many things online. You've seen somebody announcing the birth of their child. You've seen another person announcing their engagement. Another person is announcing um, their new house, their new car, a launching of their new business, a product that they've created, everything. So social is a world where success is displayed, even failure sometimes is displayed, right? Reality is edited because for a no matter how much anybody tries to tell you that, oh, my life is an open book, I put my life out there, blah blah, it's still not the entirety of a person's life you get to see. So you can see me post things about, my day or about my work, about whatever it is, but I can tell you for a fact that there are still so many things about my life that you don't know. There might be struggles that I may be having you don't know, my private wins or private failures that I may not care to share just yet. So many of all of these things might exist. So when you put all of these things in context, you realize that you cannot keep comparing your reality with created reality. And by that, I don't mean that everybody online is lying about what they put out there or they are not real or fake or anything. What I'm trying to say is that whatever it is that anybody puts out on social media is only a percentage of what really goes on in their life. I was watching a video where somebody was talking about how people come to church, for example, to give testimonies. So I can come right now, share on my page about how I just got a brand new car, and that testimony will inspire you. And genuinely, I got the car from a good place. It was not a bad. It was not a bad source. It was a genuine source. It was something that it was good and all of that. But what I may not tell you is what happened behind the scenes, the process that I had to go to get. What I may not tell you is the struggles that I faced, the disappointment that I faced, the so many aspects of my life. That young girl, we started together. She has already gotten a car. She's flying high. She's doing this. She's doing that. Oh, she's traveling the world. Her life is beautiful. She's true. But there are so many other details about my life that I don't think I want to share, that I left out, and know what to share and know what not to share. So whatever you see online, know that it's a fragment of what is really happening in reality. So many people are no longer living, they are performing. We compare our behind the scenes, somebody else's highlight reel, and we don't know how much it is affecting us. So, what is social media really doing? I think is the question. But let me put a disclaimer before I talk about this, right? Now, the idea of this, not to paint social media in a bad light, or to make you stop using social media, or to make you see social media as evil. That's not the point. It's a blessing. It has created platforms for so many people. A lot of people are building meaningfully online, building their business history, whatever it is that God has given to them. They've been able to create a platform for themselves with social media. So social media it is how you allow or how you wield the use of social media that now determines the outcome of your life as a person. And so sharing this to bring us to a place of awareness so that you become very conscious, because a lot of times many people are battling with things they don't know where it's coming from. And I'm going to give a very good example, right? So there was a time that I think that was last year, I must have at some point. Last year, I just realized that I felt this weight of heaviness inside of me. I felt this weight. I was just really happy. I was just sad. But I could not pinpoint to what exactly it was that was making me sad. Like what's going on. I like to introspect a lot. So when I start feeling this surge of anger or anxiety or sadness inside of me, down to reevaluate and trace it back. Okay, Michelle, what is going on? Where is this feeling coming from? Is there something that must have triggered it? And what triggered how I was feeling was something that I had seen online. So it had to take me sitting back, like, okay, evaluating my life, looking at my life right now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with me. There is nothing wrong. It's fine. So where am I feeling this heaviness from? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling heavy? And so when I sat down to really, is there something I saw? Is there something I heard? Is there something somebody told me? I started to look at these things and then I realized, oh, I came across something there damping my spirits. And that kind of like, because I'm the kind of person that I easily soak in things a lot, which is why I'm very careful. I curate my space intentionally because I do not want anything contaminating my state of mind, the way I feel, my spiritual atmosphere, and all of those things. So it was in me taking out time to really think about it that I realized that I'd come across something that just terrible. And so these are some of the things that social media does to you, right? Number one, comparison, like I had shared earlier. at yourself, you look at other people. It can even be your friends, your peers, your classmates. You guys went to secondary school together, you graduated, life takes everybody on different turns. One person is abroad, thriving, another person is married, building a family. Some people are building businesses, and you're there, you're still figure your life out. There's comparison. And there's a way social media gives us the illusion that life is supposed to go in a certain direction, or life is supposed to flow in a certain way. So we forget that there is something called the concept of time and season. There is something called concept of process. There is something called alignment. There's something called purpose. That your life and another person's life are not. So the fact that you guys are 20 years old together or 30 together, you went to secondary school together, you were best friends, life, everything, you guys have done everything together, you have everything in common, does not mean that your life is going to be the same. But because we have point to differentiate so many things, social media puts us in that place of comparison. You literally find yourself comparing yourself to people that have gone ahead. Some can be your age mates, quite all right. You guys might have gone to school together, but you forget that people have different leverages in life that they may not tell you about. People have different opportunities that they may not necessarily be open about. So many things are happening. So before you sit down to start to people, have you really paid attention to several things that are important? So one of the core things that social media does, comparison, puts you in that place where you always have to feel like you have to compare yourself to another person. You have to compare your life to another person. Another thing that trust me, it is so addictive. Before you know it, you're scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Have you noticed that you never get to the end of the timeline? You keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and oh my goodness, it's not good for your mental health at all. Because by the time you are done, you've consumed so many things, a whole lot of things, residue of people's emotions, people's words, people's actions, both positive and negative, has been imprinted in your heart. And your soul is very fragile. You don't know that. The things that you see, they are being stored up. Nothing you pay attention to, or nothing you look at is going in vacuum. Every single thing is being imprinted upon your heart, upon your soul. So the more you scroll, the more you are seeing a video, you are seeing this, you're seeing that. These things are storing up things in your heart. Sometimes positive, and other times not positive. The third one is identity distortion. And this is a very key one, especially for young disease, sometimes even millennials, I'll be honest. Especially for young people, you lose your sense of identity. And I'll give you a very good example. When there is trends, one thing that I've come to in my life is I don't follow trends. And if you follow me online, you will know. You hardly see me jump on any trend. Maybe, oh, there's this TikTok trend, there's this thing that is. I think at the beginning of the year, there was something that everybody was doing where they were saying, oh, day one of talking to my camera, day two of doing this, day three of doing that. There was a bandwagon effect. Like everybody was just trying to show up, trying to speak to the camera, which is good. Challenge here, this challenge is here, social media challenge, Instagram challenge, TikTok challenge, all of those things. When you don't have a sense of self, this is what social media does to you. You are in any direction. But when you know who you are, you know what your purpose is, and you understand your mission, whatever every other person is doing, because you know exactly what you are about. So one of the things that social media does is identity distortion. You start to confuse online life. You forget who you are. Somebody wakes up one day and says, oh, I'm transitioning into tech. And then you are able to look at their life. Wow, this person transitioned into tech in just 6 months. They've been able to accomplish this for themselves. They've been able to do this. They've been able to do that. I think that tech. I will make money in tech. So you go and take a course in tech, in whatever it is, whether it is all those tech courses. You take a course and then you do it for a while, it doesn't work out, you stop. Then you see another person who is sharing their journey into life coaching, and they became a life coach, and the moment they got their certification in life coaching, things started happening to them. They started having deals, they started having opportunities, they started traveling around the world, speaking, training, coaching. They were, their positioning online changed, everything about them changed. They started getting awards, recognition, and then you're like, it's like this life coaching is what is trending. Let me go and do certification as a life coach. You do that one too. Then another person, you just because you don't have a sense of purpose. And that is what social media does, especially as a young person, which is why one of the things I ask for, especially for young children, people who have children, if you're listening to me and you have young children, please, I beg you, be careful how you expose them to social media usage. Be very careful how you expose them to it, because children are at a point where they are trying to form their sense of who they are. So if they are exposed early to social media use and they are seeing all of these things, they are not able to tell who they are. Why a lot of you are seeking for clarity. I'm looking for clarity every single day. You are looking for clarity. The problem is not that you are confused. The problem is that you are consuming so many. You're paying attention to so many people that you've lost a sense of who you are. You no longer know who you are anymore, because every other person is telling you who you are. How you should be living your life, what is trending now. I remember there was a time, my friend and I always say something, I think or not. I said that if I wanted to blow online, I know exactly what I'll be doing that will make me a month. I promise you, I'll become a social media sensation. I know I have what it takes. I'm a fine girl. Let me brag a little bit. I'm a fine girl, intelligent, I'm smart. All I need to do is display that aspect of me so much and start living my for likes, for attracting things that are irrelevant, and boom, I start going viral. I remember there was a time my friend, we're talking, and then she was doing an audit on my page, because we're talking about social media growth and all of that. And please, it's very important to say it. Influence is important, right? Growth online is also important, because there are many things that are happening today. I mean, we saw something that was trending yesterday, particular figure endorsing something that we know, whether our words were misconstrued or not. The fact is that this person said what that person said was not aligned with the values of scripture. But that aside, I'm just trying to let you know that influence is important, right? So I'm not here to say that, oh, you don't need that. I'm just trying to let you understand something. So I remember my friend was checking and auditing my page, and she was like, so there, my page, if you look at my Instagram page or my social media page in general, a core part of what I share, my work, right? My is anything work related. So if you check my page, you're either seeing videos of speaking engagements or things that are from my heart or my work related stuff. You hardly see anything that is so personal, and it's very intentional. Once in a while, yes, I get to share personal stuff just once in a while, but that's that about that. Maybe if I go out and all of those things, but kind of content that I create. So it's something that it's not something that you would, casually see on my page. And she was visiting my page, and she saw that for every time that I post lifestyle content, maybe lifestyle content, for example, are content that, oh, I went to a friend's wedding, I went to a restaurant. There was a time I was doing something called Michelle the Explorer, right? Where I go to a restaurant, try food, content, and all of those. Every time I posted those kind of content, every of those kind of content on my page had higher engagements, higher likes, higher comments. They did very well. But when I posted content about my work or maybe speaking or something like that, it didn't as the other content. And just as a way of encouragement, she was like, why don't I tilt more towards content, since that is what is working for my page? And it sounded like a very good advice, right? It made sense. But I knew that I wanted to represent. I love fashion as a person, and if you know me well, you know that I love to look good and dress well. But I asked myself a question: as a person, is that what my entire life is about? Is my entire life about being a fashion girly? No. So why should I create part of me so that I want my page to grow? Do you understand? So it's not like there's anything wrong with that. There are people who that is their core: fashion, get ready with me, all of those things. I do it once in a while as well. But that cannot become the focal point of the things that I post online, because I know that that is not the core of who I am. The core of who I am is to bring transformation to people through the things that I share. And so that is what my focus is on. Now, if I did not understand my identity and my mission for being online, that could have easily derailed me off and taken me off track. And then I start to post content. Oh, hi guys, I went to this today. I traveled to Ghana recently, right? And what anybody would have expected was to post. I'm so sorry about that. Can you guys still hear me, please? Please, let me still hear. Please, if you're still following, let me hear. Let me know. All right. Thank you very much, Rita. So I for a conference that I was part of, and what any other person would have done with that experience was to curate a lifestyle content. Oh, this is what Ghana looks like. Oh, these are the places that I visited in Ghana. Oh, Ghana jollof rice. Ghana jollof rice versus Nigerian jollof rice. I'm so sorry, my alarms. I need to silence this thing. Versus Nigerian jollof rice. Which one is better? And that kind of content would have done so well, right? Like, oh, people have been bantering. My WhatsApp is just a place where is my unfiltered Michelle unfiltered. Anything I like, I post on my WhatsApp. So that's what anybody would have expected. But I said no, I'm not going to put that out. It's not like there's anything wrong in putting that out. I mean that tomorrow I will not put that out, right? But I decided that okay, how do I want to be seen? My how do I want what I'm doing to be positioned? I started to share some of the values and some of the things that I learned on my, and I did a series. I'm not done yet, but I started a series called Becoming a Global Voice, and I was sharing lessons and all of those things. But I do that because there was already a sense of identity. There was a sense of this is who I am. Yes, every other person goes on trips, they visit some centers. I said I'm not going there to do tour. Another time will go when I go there. Another time will come rather when I go there and do the tours and do all of those things. That's part of it. But the focal point of my content will not be based on that. And why am I able to differentiate what what not to post, what to position as and what not to position as, what my life should be about, is because I have a sense of who I am. But another young who has not gotten a sense of themselves, they do other things and they're just having fun and they're not even conscious. This thing, every single thing that you do defines who you are as a person. So identity distortion is one of the things that everybody is trying to follow the bandwagon. You follow the bandwagon. Oh, today they are talking about this one, you join them. Tomorrow they're talking about the only time you see me talk about things is when it relates to the core of who I am, what I do, my values, my interests as a person. I don't have any business whatever is going on with entertainment industry and all of those things, because that is not my life as a person. So you need to get to a point where you are not identity be defined by the things that you see on social media. Another thing that social media is doing to a lot of people is attention fragmentation. You have different, it is, for lack of a better word, it is bad. You have difficulty, focusing because there is constant stimulation. People don't know how to stay still anymore. Like, just be by yourself. Don't do anything. A lot of people don't know how to do it. A lot of people don't know how to pick a book. And it's because online you see short videos, short seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, all of those things. Those things are rewiring your brain if you don't know. So constant scrolling, constant these apps, you can't even watch a 1 hour sermon in one sitting. Some of you now, as you are listening to me, there is a sermon that you are supposed to watch. 1 hour sermon, you have used 5 days to watch it. And it's not because you are trying to break it down, it's because you are not able to sit down and concentrate to say, I want to, for the next 1 hour or for the next 2 hours, I want to pay attention. That's why your pastor's sermon is always too long. Pastor is always preaching too long. Pastor's sermon is taking time because issues, right? So it shapes your perception and it also shapes your values. I've talked about that before, so I don't want to dwell too much on it. I want to show you why you're not resist comparison. And the first one is there's something called social ranking instinct. Your brain naturally has a way of checking where you stand compared to other people, and that's what social media is doing to you. So that is that on your own, everything is fine. You feel like your life is good, like you don't have any problem. Life is, you're doing well career wise, maritally, and all of that. Then all of a sudden you go online and then you see somebody else who now posts something that they have what you don't have. And then you start to feel like, compared to this person, I don't think that I am well. So you start questioning yourself, am I doing well enough? Am I failing behind? I remember I was sharing at a particular speaking engagement that I had. And I was, when I'm very real, raw, and honest with you guys. When I first got married to my husband, how many years ago? I felt like my marriage was beautiful, everything was good, we were okay, right? And then, when you just building our lives, and we're still building our lives gradually. But then at that time, we're still like growing together. I was just starting my business, so I didn't really have so much like that in that sense. So we're growing together, we're living a very simple life, and everything was perfect until it was no longer perfect. Until I started to see that this person that we got married together, look at what they are doing, look at what they're doing. And then I started to look at myself, look at my marriage, look at my husband, and I started to resent. I didn't know where that was coming from, but I realized that I was resenting every single thing that was happening around me. I felt like I was behind. I felt like my marriage was not worthy enough by social media. And that's why I'm grateful to God every time in my life. I'm grateful to God for higher voices who listen to me so that they slap me back to my reality. So your brain checks where you stand compared to other people. You start to ask questions. So your marriage is good, things are happening well for you. You might not be having what other people have, but you're okay. All of a sudden, I remember one of the things that triggered that negative feeling was that, the person, I was watching a video, I think it was a YouTube video, and the person was saying something about, I can never be an understanding wife. I can never be an understanding girlfriend. That's how me too. I woke up one day, I said, you know what? I'm not taking nonsense from anybody. Oh my God, looking back at it, I see how how foolish I was, honestly. But that's because I to dictate me. I had not gotten to a point where I'd grown in my own sense of self, my own sense of identity as a person. Regardless of what is going on in another person's life, regardless of what every other person is accomplishing, it does not in any way diminish my value as a person. You get to that point, you keep measuring your progress, your life, every single thing by other people's lives. And you forget that everybody is in the process. Everybody's life is not the same. So that's the first thing, social ranking instinct. The second thing is invisible benchmarking, right? So most companies, you don't compare yourself to somebody because you want to compare yourself to somebody. In the same vein, you don't feel jealous of another person because you want to be jealous. You wakes up one day to say that I want to be jealous of this person. Oh, this person is my friend. We went to school together. We were roommates. We have lived our lives together. Everything has, we've grown together. Now, my friend who we grew together is doing better than me. Actually, from your heart, especially, except if you're an evil person, which is not the case, right? Except if you're an evil person, naturally, the natural for you to have your friend that, oh, my friend is doing well. So the people that end up being envious, jealous, comparing their lives, being competitive, not doing it because they want to do it intentionally. So people don't wake up one day to say, today, I want my life, I want to compare my life with another person. That happens over time because every time you are scrolling, your mind is collecting information, it's collecting data. You don't know. There are residue of things that are dropping inside every single time you are not fully aware of. So you are constantly looking at your life in comparison to another person, especially if you had before in the past where maybe your teacher or your parent or somebody has said something to you that made you feel less of yourself. Naturally, before you know it, you realize that for everybody that, and that's why a lot of people, they don't, you don't feel jealous of somebody maybe older than you. I cannot be jealous of Tara Durotoye or Ibukun Awoshika right now because she's not my mate. She has, if I'm feeling jealous or feeling like I'm comparing my life to somebody, to be probably somebody within my age range or somebody within my status or my class level or whatever it is, right? So every time you're scrolling, your mind is collecting this information. It is these things, whether you know it or not. And that's why you have to be very intentional about your use of social media. Then the third one is the emotional shortcut loop. You and then there is this spike of emotion, and then you start to compare, then you start to evaluate yourself, and you repeat pattern. You go online, you pick up your phone. Oh, let me quickly check Instagram. I want to see the message that I got. Before you know it, you're scrolling. You are seeing different things. This person just graduated, she just had a master's, and then you remember that I've been saying I want to do my master's for the past 5 years now. I've not been able to do it. I don't have this opportunity, I don't have that. You start to evaluate yourself based on that. Oh, I feel like I'm not lucky enough. I feel like I don't have, there's a word that people are talking about unfair advantage. Oh, use your unfair advantage, use the advantage that you have. This person's advantage is the fact that um they have connection with certain kind of people. That's the advantage, and that's why they are like that. And then you look at them and you're like, this person, the way this person's life is like this is because they have this kind of advantage. Me, what advantage do I have? I don't think I have anything. And then you look at yourself, oh, I don't have anything, and you don't have anything. But in the real sense of it, there is something you have. But because you have looked at yourself in comparison to another person, beauty in your own life, you're paying attention to what happens to another person. So I want you to pay attention to something. Every time you're on social media, you are not just consuming content. You are not just consuming content. For every single time you are online, you are not just consuming content, just scrolling. You're not just seeing a person's video. You're not just seeing a person's picture. You are gathering data, updating your sense of self. updating your sense of identity, your sense of purpose, where you stand in life, who you are. Good thing is being rewired, whether you know it or not. And so that's why you have to intentionally, I'm not saying don't be on social media, like I said earlier, for you to be able to position yourself. There are a lot of opportunities that are right there. And honestly, those kind of people who know what they are doing, who are intentional about what they are doing there, and who have curated their space in such a way that they are trying to deserving of. It's not just for anybody who doesn't even know why they are there. They are just following bandwagon. Today it is what's the latest trend now, Seth? There's many things I don't know, and it's just weird. But then it's one trend or the other. Maybe it's one TikTok challenge. It's one song that everyone with. All of those things. So you're not just consuming content. Your sense of self is being crafted. Is crafted, whether you know it or not. I think there was a video. I no, it was not a video. It was a carousel of a lady. I don't know the know her. I stumbled on her post, and I realized that she's an influential figure, and she was talking about, I think but she said something relating to, I want to share with you 10 things that I do not believe about marriage. Number one, I don't believe that, I don't believe that this, I can't remember every other thing she posted. But then she started, and to be honest, it sounded so logical. What she was saying, it sounded like wisdom. It sounded so good to the ears that if you are not grounded in yourself, values as a person, you will easily pick it up. And these things happen a lot, where you used to believe in something, you used to believe this was the right way to do it, but then an influencer or somebody came and said something else, and all of a sudden, you don't have to think for yourself anymore. You just pick it up, and that becomes how you see life. That becomes the way you pursue your own person. So somebody can wake up one day and say that, for example, don't be an understanding girlfriend. And there is a context to it. Understanding girlfriend can be something else. And then you realize that, oh, you have this guy that you have been with. You guys are growing together. You have your humble beginning. Not much yet. He cannot give you the aesthetically pleasing life. He cannot buy you flowers and do all of those things. He cannot do that kind of proposal, shut down the entire social media. He's not able to afford that lifestyle for you. But this guy is a good guy. This guy has vision. He has prospects. And you know it. But because your favorite influencer said, don't be an understanding girlfriend, you've taken it. And there's some things that sound like wisdom in this guy, but you don't know. So every single time, you are not just consuming content, you are taking how a person thinks, even their spirit. And you need to understand this, that there is a kind of spirit that a person used to communicate something and not be aligned with the principles and the standards of God. So you have to be very, very intentional about this thing. Exactly. Especially when you admire and respect them from afar. No matter how much you admire and respect people, you must go to a point where you are able to divide what it is that a person is saying. Don't consume just anything that somebody is saying. So the hidden cost of comparison to anxiety, esteem, pressure to perform, emotional exhaustion, and all of that. Now, the real problem is not envy, it is identity confusion. Comparison just make you feel less of yourself. It makes you forget who you are. And one question I like to ask people is, who are you as a person? Not what has told you to be, not who people are becoming these days. Today, somebody is. The time I had to tell myself, I remember there was a point in my life I was trying so hard to be a content creator, and then I realized that yes, content is a channel through which I express my God-given gifts, my message, the value that I have as a person. But I am not a creator. So it is not a default for me to wake up in the morning and say I want to vlog my entire day and say, oh, this is a day in me as I cook. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There are people who do that and they do it so effortlessly. But I realized that there was a time in my life where this person, get ready with me, do this, do that. I was trying to do all those things and I realized that see, this is not me. This is not my kind of person. I'm consistent with it. So comparison doesn't just make you less of yourself, it makes you forget who you are. Who are you as a person? What are your values? What is your mission? What is your vision? What are you building? What are you doing with your page? What are you doing? Is your page just anything go anything you can just do anything? Is that what you're about? I remember having a conversation with my friend and then she was like, I think she did a content for her business. And so, because it's a fashion business, we did a lot of funny, funny content. And then she was like, can I collaborate with you? And I said, no, you can't collaborate with me. Not because there's anything wrong with this content, but it does not align with my brand as a person. I know that that sounded somehow to her, but I had gotten to a point in my life where not just anything goes. So I cannot just wake up one day and do anything I want to do with my social media, right? So the problem is not just envy, it is identity confusion. You are feeling less of yourself and you forget who you are. So some of you need to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, who am I? Because the truth is that as humans, we are wired for something that is deeper than us, greater than us. So when you lose that sense of identity, you lose yourself and it affects your entire well-being as a person. And that's why no matter how much anybody pursues anything in life, there is always one question that everybody is asking, whether you're not a Christian, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God. Everybody is searching for purpose, searching for meaning in life. So when you lose that, it can affect you as a person, it can affect your state of mind, everything about you. So the hidden damage of comparison is that you're performing your life instead of living it. And one thing you need to ask yourself is, am I living or am I performing? This is a very am I living or am I performing? The things that I'm doing, does it align with who I am? Or am I living my life that has been laid out before me by other people? The second thing is that you delay your joy until it is post-worthy. Decided not to post something that means something to you because it doesn't feel like it is social media worthy. It doesn't fit around. So, for example, you're in your house, God has been telling you to do content, to start putting content out, right? Or to start doing certain. But you look at your house does not feel aesthetic enough. So you don't do what you're supposed to do. You don't put yourself out there. You keep postponing until you get to that point where everything you have looks well curated. I came across a video online today and I don't know if I can find that video, honestly. It was so good. So this lady did a something, she was getting married. And for the first time I saw somebody who was living life on her own terms. There was nothing aesthetic about herself. She did braids. This is the first time I'll see somebody who is doing braids for her wedding. She cannot afford frontal wig. So, what I can afford? Braid. She did braids. She cannot afford to pay a makeup artist. She did her makeup by herself. She could not afford luxury dresses and all of those herself because she can make dresses. And she documented it. The background of her video did not look so nice. Everything was not looking so aesthetic. See the joy in her sharing. And one lesson that I took from that is that we need to get to a point where we start living authentically. I mean, what's the English now? Start becoming authentic about your life. Otherwise, you would feel like what you have is not enough compared to another person. So a lot of people are trying to break the bank. Oh, you want to get married now, and you genuinely cannot afford a frontal or a a very good human hair blend. But because that's not what everybody is using, you are feeling bad about it, right? So that's another thing. You delay your joy on worthy, you feel behind even when you're growing. Some of you are genuinely growing, you're genuinely doing well for yourself, you're growing at your own pace, you are where God wants you to be, you are in your own process, you are in your own season, you're in your season of learning, you're in your season where your seed is growing from the root upward. And genuinely, there is nothing. But every time you consume the things that you consume, if you are not careful, you will feel behind. And every time you feel behind, it affects how you feel about yourself. It affects your state of mind. You start to feel anxious. You start to feel like a failure. You start to feel like you like the other person. The world has moved ahead. You've not moved. You start to feel a certain kind of way is happening to you, and then you struggle to enjoy ordinary moments. And this is another thing that a lot of us on social media are guilty of. Like there are times that I go for certain events or go for something, experience something, and I'm like, I just want to enjoy the experience without the need to want to document. I love to document. If you know me well, you know that I love to document a lot, capture moments back and see, oh, this was what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It makes me happy, right? But there are times that I experience certain things just being by myself. So I remember, I think last year, December, something happened, with me, and I wanted to share with my own friends and my people and my family members around me. And I was happy just enjoying that moment without the cameras on, without the need to put it out there, without anybody having to validate what I was doing or what I needed to do. And this is something that you need to come into as a person, that there are moments in your life. And I always tell people that some of the best moments in your life that are not even captured on camera. It doesn't mean that the ones that you capture are fake. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. But there are some of the best moments in your life that you don't even remember to pick up your phone to capture it. You don't even remember to record because you're so lost in that moment. You're enjoying conversation. And that's why whenever I'm with my friends or I'm with people around me, I try to drop my phone. Let's speak one on one. Let's talk to each other, look into your eyes. I want to hear you. I find it disgusting when I'm talking to you or somebody is talking to you and you're scrolling on your phone. And this is what's happening to us. People can be in the same room, they are together, but they are not connected. And there's a way that because you see people's posts, it gives you a illusion that you are actually in touch with them, but you are not in touch with them. You realize that you see somebody's status, you are checking their status, their updates on Instagram, you're checking their LinkedIn post, but the last time you had a proper conversation with them was like maybe 5 months ago. That's the things that is happening to us because of our constant use of social media. So now the question is, how do you rebuild your internal reference, tell your mind a person? So yes, so you cannot necessarily discard social media, right? You cannot necessarily discard social media. You channel it purposefully, and how do you protect your state of mind as an individual? Number one, you need to be able to define your worth as a person. And this is important. You have to get to a point where your sense of self, your sense of identity, your values, your virtue, your purpose as a person. What does success mean to you? That's one question. What does accomplishment mean to you? What does fulfillment mean to you? And the answer to that question has to be internal, not external. Because if you define your worth by the things that are happening externally, you consistently feel like you're being deprived of something, like you're missing out on something. So there's the external, that's the likes. How many people have liked my post today? Trend, comparison, virality. There are times that you might make a post, for example, and you might not get many likes. it might not go viral, but one person, and there have been several testimonies like that. One person, and it changed their life. But if your sense of worth is determined by, oh, how many people are liking my post, how many people are, how many people are sharing what I've shared, how many people are talking about it, how many blogs have carried it, you will not realize how impact your life is making, because you are measuring by the wrong metrics. So you have to determine what is your worth as a person. What does you? So, and it has to be internal: peace, growth, discipline, meaning. Success is living my life according to purpose. So for everybody who comes in contact with me and their lives are being changed, whether or not, whether it goes viral or not, for even if it's one person, yes, God has called us to the multitude, but even if it's one person, giving me fulfillment, knowing that because of what I shared, because of what I'm doing, somebody's life is being changed. Whether it is what I'm doing online or what I'm doing online, people's lives are being. So, what defines your worth as a person? So, have your internal scorecard that you look at. So, when you have that, and you are able to, and this is very important, please, I'm begging you, you have to be able to define, what does success mean to me as a person? Successful, what makes me relevant, what makes me worthy, what makes me great as a person. What if this virality you're chasing, what if you never get it? What if you never become a popular figure? What if you never become an, what if your social media page does not grow beyond where it is now? I think my husband and I were gisting, we're randomly gisting about social media today, how I think my I was checking my page, my follower count, and I saw that they removed about maybe 50 followers. And I'm like, this Instagram people are not serious, blah 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 blah. But I just told myself that, see, all of these things, if my worth is defined by the amount that I have, then I'm missing something. Because Uncle Mark can wake up any day and decide to do whatever he likes. Pay to go down. Anything can happen. So what now defines my worth as a person? It is not how many people, even in how many people will come to me and say, "Oh, Michelle, you're a blessing." It's good. We love to hear stuff like that. There's nobody that will tell you don't make them happy. But you as a person, when you do something, for example, like now I'm teaching right now, and by the time I'm done with the teaching, a sense of fulfillment that I feel within myself, that I've been able to do this for other people. Whether anybody comes to my DM to say thank you or not, whether anybody share about the part that I feel at peace with myself, I feel like I'm growing, because as I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm developing myself, developing my capacity. Those are the measures that I look at that makes me know that, okay, yes, I think I'm doing well, not the external things, because those things are fickle and they can disappear, right? So it's very important that you're able to define your worth by internal metrics. Number two, this is very important. What and who do you give your attention to? Because what you repeatedly give your attention to affects how you affect life. And I've said so much about that, so I don't want to dwell on it. But you have to be able to curate your space, your online space. Whatever content you consume is in alignment with where you're going as a person. There are certain people that you should not be following. There's people who will be on your feed. I like my social media, because if I enter Instagram right now, I'm telling you, the first 5-10 scroll is either I'm seeing a pastor preaching the message, or I'm seeing somebody that is trying to talk sense into my head, or I'm just, it is carefully curated in such a way, whether I look left or I look right, whatever I'm seeing makes sense. So you have to take ownership of the attention, grabbing your attention online. Take ownership of it. Don't expose yourself to just anything at all. Anybody cannot just come and be speaking to you. different standpoints, value system, spirits, and all of that. So pay attention to it, because what you give your attention to affects on you as a person. And then the third one is your recovery practice. You need to have a recovery practice, and you need to do that by using exposure to real life. One of the things I love to do as a person is sometimes I take days off social media. I've taken 30 days off social media just because I wanted to be in touch with life. And you know that there's a way that when you now go offline, people will not be asking you what happened to you, what happened to you. That means we have so much normal idea of being constantly online that we don't even know how to be without being online, without being active online. So you have to have a recovery for yourself, that, oh, I know that my work requires me to constantly be online. It requires me to constantly, out there. Like for me now, my work requires me to put myself out there, right? Attention is currency right now. So the more people are able to know you are like top of mind. So when somebody needs your services or they need whatever it is that you're doing, you're being asked to make people make better decision or easier decision when it comes to you as a person or your services as a person, right? But regardless of that, I don't allow myself to become trapped by that and now say that, oh, I will now be living my entire life on social media. So sometimes create experience for yourself where you are just you outside of all of these things. Have real life conversations. I treasure it so much. I treasure having that one-on-one contact with people, right? Where I'm just maybe with friends. I don't like going out like that, but every time I have the opportunity to go out, if I'm interacting with a person or I'm talking with somebody, you hardly find me scrolling on my phone and talking with somebody. I put my phone aside and I want to listen to you. I want to take in the things that you are saying to me. I want to soak in the moment and just enjoy just being in that place. So embrace silence. Silence is beautiful. It is blissful. Just learn how to be still. Embrace boredom. Do you know that boredom is not a bad thing? Like it was not a bad thing. And I'm grateful to my dad for teaching me that, because when I was very everywhere, always jumping up and down, I want to always be doing something. I was always very hyperactive. So I remember when I told my daddy that, daddy, let's go out, I'm bored. Or daddy, let's do this, I'm bored. My daddy would be like, what is wrong with being bored? Sit down there. I being harsh and being wicked. But now I know better, and I know that sometimes it's part of life. You don't always have your things. Sometimes just be still. You realize that a lot of us don't know how to be still. A lot of us don't know how to sit and not do anything. A lot of us don't know how to just be in that place where nothing is happening in your life. There is no activity, there is no work. God had to bring me to that place last year. I think I shared it when I was talking about Eden experience. That took away from me, like, your business, shut it down, stop doing this, stop doing that. So for months, I think about 3 or 4 months before I eventually went for counseling, I wasn't doing anything. I was not working, I was not producing any, I was just there. And I saw how much that made me feel like something, especially when you now go online and you see that somebody is doing this, they are launching this, they are launching that, and you're in that place, there's nothing to launch, there's nothing to create, there's nothing to do, you are just there. So embrace boredom, enjoy presence, and build real relationships on social media. So yes, it's good that you have online friends, but have friends that you interact with outside of all of these things. Helps you to your state of mind as a person, your right. It helps you a lot. So embrace real life conversation. Sometimes call your, not WhatsApp call, not WhatsApp chat, not Instagram chats, not any of those things. Call them on the phone and speak for 2 hours, 3 hours, non-stop. Conversation. You are talking to somebody on the phone, but you are scrolling while you're talking to them. So half of the things that they are saying to you, you're not even hearing it, you're not paying attention to it. penetrating. And that's another thing that is affecting us too. You see that a lot of relationships are being affected. People are living in the same house. They don't even talk to each other. Everyone is on their phone. So embrace all of these things and it will really help you a lot. So this is one question that I want to ask everybody. And I don't know if you're going to answer it here or you're going to ponder on it after this session. If social media was appear for 30 days, who will you be without it? I think I'd like to see answers. So if Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, every app, Threads, all of these apps, they are for the next 30 days. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg says that, oh, there's a glitch right now and we're trying to fix it and it's going to take us the next 30 days to fix it now. Please bear with us and we'll be back next month. Have you thought about it actually? Have you thought about it? What's going to happen to your work? What's going to happen to your relationships? What's going to happen to you, your personal brand? Everything that you're building. What's going to happen? Let me see responses. Oh. Let me see your response. If social media disappeared now, I think there was a time something like that happened. I can't remember the year. Was it 2020 or 2021? When was it Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, all of those apps shut down at the same time. And I was in panic mode. I don't know if you guys can remember, but that was like maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Everybody was in panic mode and people were talking. So that's to tell you that we're actually living on borrowed time. Everything is borrowed. And sometimes I always ask myself conversations with my husband, and I'm like, what was life like without social media? I don't even know. It calls for thinking, serious thinking. Even myself, I'll go and sit down and think about it. Because these are every one of us, including myself, right? So sometimes I have conversations with my husband. I'm like, what was life like? I mean, there was actually a time where people were living. There was no space. So how is it that we're now in a time where it feels as though people can almost not live without this thing? I don't really see the problem that is inherent in that. Like I said earlier, social media is not bad. It's a blessing in so many ways. That's giving a lot of people platforms and opportunities. I mean, there are people that we know today that if not for social media, we would never have known them. We would never have even seen or experienced what it's like, what they have. So it's a beautiful thing. As much as it's a blessing, there is also the underside to it that is not so good that we're not really talking about. So what was life like without this thing? How can I preserve my relevance as a person without this thing? Try doing something, maybe tomorrow. Try not touching your phone for the next 1 hour. No phone, no screen, no television. Just sit down and maybe carry a book or try to do other things. How difficult it is. You will see how it's a struggle. You will see how you almost feel miserable. 5 minutes without your phone, and it's a problem. And it's so sad that I'm even seeing that a lot of young kids are being exposed to this now. They don't even know how to stay without it. The next thing you are seeing, once a child starts crying, you give them gadgets, you give them these things. But that's not even the conversation. Talking to us as adults, this is something that I want us to think about and ask ourselves this question. Maybe we need to go back to those times when life was just, simple, when relationships were pure, where I with a person not based off what I'm seeing online, but based off the interactions. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I have to intentionally send a message to a friend, like, let's hang out, because I realized that we've not seen each other since January, and this is May. But because you're seeing them online, seeing their posts, you're seeing their contents, it gives you the illusion that you guys are in touch. The illusion that people are fine. Very recently, we lost somebody, I mean, an actor, and for a moment, nobody really knew what this guy was dealing with outside of all of that. Like, how is it that something of that should happen to somebody and the people who were the closest friends of that person did not have an idea? There's a whole life of this world, and we need to start intentionally, you know, paying attention to this. Somebody said I'm going to do. I know that feeling because it has happened to me before. I told you I went on a 30 days social media, so and I was not online for 30 days. And the first day, my God, it felt like Jesus Christ. What is going on? It was just so hard for me. Like, I could not just help it. Like, how can I just stay without my phone? Things it's rewiring our brain. We don't know. It's rewiring our brain a lot. So honestly, I really hope we're able to intentionally curate our lives in a way that it's not eating deep into the most important things, right? So I want us to start living intentionally and living in the moment, enjoying the beauty of life. Go outside and touch grass, meet new people, enjoy, just enjoy. I'm hosting, is it the Eden experience? And one of the things I want to make sure that we do is that everybody drop your phone one place. I don't want to see you pressing your phone. You're not going to your phone notes. So you are going to bring your notes, your own physical paper notes. If you want to jot anything down, jot it in your notes. Keep your phone aside, switch it off. Tell your friends and your loved ones that I'm going for a program or for the next 6 hours. I don't want any distractions. Be in the moment. Because a lot of times you realize that people don't enjoy the moment anymore. You just go for an event. Sometimes you go for something, pictures, you don't experience that thing. You didn't experience that event. You didn't experience the people that were there. You didn't experience the beauty of that place. Like, you just went there, enjoyed, took pictures. So you have pictures for the gram to show that you're living your life and have fun. But in the real sense of it, you did not really experience it because half the time you were on your phone, house, going for an event, but still not being able to enjoy and soak in the experience of that event because you're so busy, caught up in that the people that are around you are not paying attention to them, right? So it's very important that we start to intentionally do these things. When you do it, you'll see how your state of mind is really improved. Your creativity is just improves. Embrace writing, embrace journaling, embrace art. One thing I love art a lot. I think that's a part of me that I love. I love to draw. I used to do that when I was a child a lot, and I still do that once in a while. So sometimes just pick up a hobby, enjoy the moment, and you'll see how much that's going to improve you. So yeah, this is the question I'm leaving you with. Go back, ponder on it, and think about it, and adjust where it is needed. Thank you so much for joining Light Edition. I do not take it for granted. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you guys next month. If this is your first time, I saw that there were quite a number of people. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Remilekun Shobowale. Thank you, Sumbo. Thank you, James. Thank Lady K. I saw Lady K at some point.